Deb Ross is the publisher and CEO of KidsOutandAbout.com, a popular site for parents to find activities and events for kids in our area and in more than 40 other markets across the country. Deb, welcome to the studio. It's good to see you.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, Emily.
My pleasure. Now, Kids Out and About has been a vital resource for parents over the last few months, recently releasing a parent survival guide. Can you tell us a little bit about the survival guide?
Absolutely. So, here in Rochester, parenting is relatively easy, meaning there's so many things to do here. All seasons, right? You have your pick of so much stuff. And so we get into our rhythms of school and home and family together time. And what makes it hard, though, is when those rhythms get disrupted. And they get disrupted, they've gotten terribly disrupted by COVID, right? Everything is up in the air. We don't have those resources out in the community, not as many anyway. And school is a completely different enterprise. So, when you become a parent, typically parents think they're going to outsource their kids' education entirely, being that support system. Well, that support system has become sort of the active monitor of kids' educations and also trying to keep them equilibrated to all of this change. Change is tough. Change is tough for adults and it's really tough for kids. So being that steady person who's getting your kids what they need, even as those needs are constantly changing, is a hard enterprise. And so one of the things we did in addition to connecting, because our mission is to connect parents with their local resources, we knew that we needed to do that for this particular enterprise too. So the Parent Survival Guide to the 2020 school year, we released it a couple of weeks ago.
And what does the survival guide cover?
Right, there's many things. So for one thing, we don't know what the school year is going to be. Sometimes we have remote learning entirely. Some of them are hybrid models. And so one of the things we do is connect folks with in-person resources. So if you want your kid to go to one of the school clubs, some of the museums have them, the Y, the JCC, the Rochester City School District, to help you get back to work and at the same time make sure your kids are learning. So we've got a list of those. Other in-person learning resources, though, tutoring centers who can help your kids with their academics. Arts education, sports education, we want to make sure that kids stay enriched in a safe way. And so Rochester businesses have completely reinvented themselves in some cases to be able to provide this in the age of COVID so that kids have what they need and parents have access to that. So that's a couple of things. We also have a huge list of virtual learning resources, because parents feel really ill-equipped sometimes to do 7th grade math or 10th grade science or whatever. Well, of course, we're across the country. We started here in Rochester 19 years ago, but Kids Out and About is across the country. And of the 30,000 businesses that post to our site, many of them went virtual with the pandemic. And so those folks who supply all kinds of learning resources suddenly had a national platform. So parents in each of our regions can take advantage of that to find exactly the learning resource that their kids need, right, and bringing it right into their home. So that's perfect. Another thing that we did, though, was it gave parents a means to get together in parenting pods. That's what they're called these days, right? Or micro schools is another term. So if you need to find other parents in your community who have kids your ages, who have needs that are similar to your kids, but maybe you can trade off. Often it's a childcare issue, right? If you need to work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and go in, but you could monitor a parent pod on Tuesday and Thursday, then our parent pod it's a Parents Helping Parents community bulletin board where they can post where they are, what they need, how old their kids are, and other parents can see that. We've just launched that as a means to help parents. I think what's going to happen is the school year is going to start, and then you're going to realize what you need, because it's just so hard to know right now what you're going to need before it really gets going.
Sure.
That's hard.
And the pandemic, of course, has changed things across the board. How has it changed things, the way you operate at Kids Out and About?
Right. So typically, think about what we're doing. We're helping people go out and about. And suddenly, March 16th, couldn't do that. Right? And so what did that mean? Well, creativity reigns here in the United States. And so lots of folks started in-person live online events, right? So different concerts or learning experiences or story times or science lessons or all kinds of things. So we instantly pivoted at Kids Out and About to be able to show stuff that's online, and our organizations could post their online activities, which meant, again, that they had this national opportunity to be in front of. So our Rochester Museum and Science Center, their planetarium shows, which they put online, had the most exposure, in fact, of any planetarium show. The Lowell Observatory in Phoenix was the second, but our RMSC was really widely accessed. So it gave our businesses a chance to be in that national spotlight, which I was very proud of.
And what makes this a must read, the Parent Survival Guide? What makes it a must read for parents going into the next school year?
Everybody has some kind of need. And if you're doing in any way remote learning, we have a Help, I'm Homeschooling article. And I want to say that, you know, you're not really homeschooling, right? Homeschooling is the sort of the master coordination of all your kids are learning. What you're really doing, if you have this hybrid model, is you are helping with remote learning. You're their coach. You're their cheerleader. You are going to help inspire your kids. You're going to help them know that they can do this, and you're going to let them know that you're in their corner, and you're going to provide some very specific kinds of resources for them, and that's what that article details.
Lots of resources available at kidsoutandAbout.com. We'll have a link to Kids Out and About, the Ultimate Parent Survival Guide, available for you on WHEC.com. Just click on Rochester in Focus under the Watch tab. Deb, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.